Ja, velkommen. Jeg heter Magnus Stavik Vold, og jeg skal snakke om Azure Cosmos DB. Er det noen som vil at jeg skal snakke på engelsk, eller in English? Or? Okay, I can do it in English, yeah. So, then we move on. A little bit about myself first. I'm a computer engineer, and I have 10 years experience with .NET development. I started in cyber on the 1st of October 2018, and I work now for Bane Nor with the TIOS project, Trafikkinformasjons- og oppfølgingssystem. What is Azure Cosmos DB? It's an evolution of Document DB from 2010. It has a geo-replication. It's a scalable NoSQL database. It has a very fast response time, low latency. And it was launched in May 2017. And some of the pros or benefits, it has a global distribution. You choose yourself where you want the data to be geo-replicated. It's unlimited scaling. You can scale storage with server-side partitioning, and it has multi-model, multi-API, and it has support for documents, tables, graph, and columnar. And there's a very good illustration, the picture over here, where you see the Cosmos DB database is located in Central America, North of Africa, in India, and South America. So if you have users all over the world, they have a very fast response time. And some downsides or cons. It's quite expensive because of geo-replication. And services like Azure Table Storage and Block Storage will be alternatives that can be cheaper, but they don't have geo-replication. And it's important to choose the right partition key. And I will come back to that. And there's request units. Request units is what you pay for when the users are reading and writing data. And one single read of 1 kilobyte data costs 1 RU. And on this website, you can calculate the cost. documentdb.com/capacity-planner. And calculate the costs. This is a screenshot of the website where you can calculate the costs. And here you enter the number of documents that you're going to use, and the creates per second and reads per second. And then you click calculate, and then you get the total RUs per second. And then you click on the blue button, and then you get the total price. And pricing, you have SSD storage and throughput. And for SSD storage, 1 gigabyte costs $0.25 and per month, and 10 gigabyte costs 10 times more, $2.5. And throughput, 100 RUs costs $0.008 per hour, and 0.192 per day, and $5.856 per month. And if you have 400 RUs, it's 4 times the price. Containers and partitioning. Oh. What what happened? Må jeg lukke den, kanskje?
Der kommer den.
Ja. Sånn. Yeah, containers and partitions. One container contains many partitions, and one partition has one partition key, and elements with the same partition key is stored in the same partition. So here you see a container, and the columns are different partitions. And the tenants, that's the elements, and they have the same partition key. And that makes it why Cosmos DB is very fast and have low latency, because it can find the correct partition and the correct element very fast. And choosing the right partition key, that's very important. So choose a property that groups the most common elements together. For example, if you have user data, you should use user ID. If you have IoT devices, you should use the device ID. Replication why? For the primary objective is performance between regions, and it brings the data closer to the user. And business continuity, in case of a disaster at the data center, if it blows up or there is some natural disaster or it burns down, you have your data stored safely in another data center. And global distribution. You can associate many regions to your Cosmos DB account. You can, as you see on the illustration, you can just click on a region, and then the Cosmos DB database will be replicated automatically, and it just takes some minutes before it's copied to that data center. And you can click on all data centers, and then you will have a global database. And it says dynamically add and remove regions, and it has failover priorities, so that you can choose the preferred region. Replication and consistency. Here you have a bar that shows the consistency levels. You can have strong consistency, then you have stronger consistency, higher latency, lower availability, or you can put it on the right side, eventual, weaker consistency, lower latency, higher availability. And the replication within a region, data moves extremely fast, typically within 1 millisecond between neighboring racks. Global replication, it takes hundreds of milliseconds to move data across continents. And the relational database versus document database. Relational database are what we are used to with rows and columns and strongly tight schemas, like this example. And documents database have documents for rows, properties for columns, and is schema free. So here you see 3 examples of documents where here is the name, a property, and on document 2 you have full name as a property. So you can change the schema for every document as what suits you. And there's a data migration tool that is an open source project where you can easily migrate from SQL Server, JSON, CSV, MongoDB, Azure Table Storage, and more. And there's also a local emulator. It emulates Cosmos DB in a local environment on your computer. And it has identical functionality as the Cosmos DB in the cloud. And then you don't need Azure subscription, Cosmos DB account, or internet connection. And it's very handy if you want to just test out and develop locally, and it doesn't cost anything, and you can deploy to the cloud when you are ready. And what can Cosmos DB be useful for? It's a good choice when you have a serverless application and that needs very fast response time, and that should scale fast and be global. And then it's demo time. Yeah. So then I want to show Cosmos DB in the portal. Here I have a Cosmos DB. I call it Min Cosmos DB. My Cosmos DB. And then when I click on it, here you can see the region configuration, and I have replicated it from North Europe to West Europe. And I can go into this region configuration, and I can just, if I want to replicate it to North America, I can just choose South Central US, and I click on it. And then I click Save. Now you see that I got South Central US here as a read region. And then I click Save. Now it starts to replicate the database to South Central US. You have a question?
Yeah, does price depends on the amount of regions which you select? So for example, if I have 2 regions and 5 regions, is the price the same?
No, the prices increases when you add regions. So this takes some minutes, and I can show you the Data Explorer where I have chosen the partition key. I have made a price comparer for GameStop with some games, and so I have chosen title as a primary key. And I wanted to show the application, but I didn't have time now. So the application reads the prices from GameStop.no and adds the title and the price information to this Cosmos DB. So I can just choose document, and then you see the price, format, PC. And here are some mandatory fields that are always on a document. ID, RID, self. That's a self link to the document.
You grab it from the API, from the GameStop?
No, they don't have an API, so I had to create a custom HTML parser and and read the price. But now I'm over time, so then the next slide is when you go out the door, I want you to think that Azure Cosmos DB is a global database. At least if you have geo-replicated your database to all the different continents. And that was all. Thanks for listening and your attention.